Hey, welcome to today's special episode of Profit Acceleration Secrets. And today we are conducting a profit acceleration coaching session. And I am delighted to welcome my guest, Lola Otubaga. Lola, how are you doing today?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for showing up. Now, I do have to just take note for our audience, since this is podcast style. Business owners, we do what we have to do to show up for the people we show up for. And my friend Lola is literally sitting in Moe's because her technology kind of tweaked out on her a little bit, and she had to charge her computer battery. So we're coming live from Moe's right now, right?
Yes.
No, I,
Yes.
I I love it and I respect it. So, Lola, before we really jump into our conversation today, I'd love to just get you to take a moment to introduce yourself, tell us about your business and what you do.
All right. So my name is Lola Otubaga. I am the owner of MindSet Healthcare. MindSet Healthcare is an integrated mental health practice that basically sees clients through medication management and therapy. So clients who our motto is resetting lives and resetting minds and changing lives. So individuals who are interested are in tune with their mental health and understand the importance and understanding that sometimes we need some assistance. So we're here to hold your hand to get you to where you need to be, not necessarily carry you, but definitely hold your hand.
Awesome. And Lola, I'm curious to ask because I do share a similar background with healthcare. How'd you get into that, especially, when we're thinking about mental health for, Black and minority populations? It's not always our thing. So I'm just curious, what led you down that path?
So I, when I graduated as an RN, I worked in the emergency room, and they always put me in the mental health. Well, it was separated, right? I don't know if you're familiar with how ERs are. They
Yeah,
have
I used to be an ER director. So,
Yes. So they have the areas strictly for clients who come in for 1013. And
mhm.
because I worked at Georgia Regional PRN, they knew that. So they would, when I came in to work full time as an ER, they would always put me over there. And I noticed the well, I'm just trying to see the best word to say. So the gap, it was a gap, in which is
Okay.
understandable, right? Because in the emergency, you're going to handle your strokes, your heart attacks, things like that. So yes, a client might have came in on a 1013 with suicidal thoughts, so they would be at the bottom of the list
Mhm.
versus the priority of the life emergency situations at that moment. So I said, you know what? Let me go back to fill that gap and be able to actually help the clients and let not make them feel like they were less of a priority. So
Mhm.
I went back, became a nurse practitioner, psych nurse practitioner, and so when I first graduated 2015, I had a job before anyone else, of course. And then I was working with a lot of different agencies. And then I said, let me create my own. So in that, Mindset Healthcare was born in 2019.
All right. And, let me dig a little bit deeper just around your business. I love to understand, maybe in really good detail, just the products, the services, especially
Mhm.
if there is someone online, that's going to listen to this conversation that may be a potential client. What does that start to look like in terms of what you offer to your customers?
So we offer mental health services. So right now, medication management and therapy. But the thing that makes me different from everyone else is the innovation. So when it comes to mental health, I don't know if a lot of people are in tune, but the psychedelics are like really big now. Um, Also, we also have like, so what I tell everyone is medication is not necessarily for everyone. So depending on what your struggle is, because all of us have some type of, we all have mental health, right? But not everyone has a mental health disorder. But and a lot of people are hesitant when it comes to starting medication. So I always let them know that we have options. We don't have to necessarily go straight to medication. There are other things that we can do. So that is one thing that sets me apart from others, just being more innovative, looking at other things to do.
Nice. I like that, and you definitely beat me to one of my questions because I always ask what
Hmm.
separates one you from competitors and so forth. So I love hearing that standard that you're setting with innovation in your business.
Hmm.
And honestly, again, just I'm bringing in my bias, from my past life in healthcare, but medications is not always the first answer.
Hmm.
So to treat the mental health the way you're doing it, I appreciate it. I respect it. So
Hmm.
thank you
Hmm.
for that. Lola, our goal today in this conversation really is to just learn more about some of your goals for your business and maybe some of the barriers, and then just offer some thoughts, strategies, ideas for you to continue to build on. What I love to just simply ask is, if we come up with one or two goals that sound great, one or two strategies that you can move forward with, what does
Hmm.
your business look like, 6 to 12 months from now?
In my vision, because if you can believe it, you can achieve it. So my business looks wonderful. It looks great. It looks, you know, saving lives, changing minds. It looks like staff is full. You know, clients are happy. They're coming back. They're getting treatment. They're actually seeing improvement. So that's what my vision is from 6 to 12 months.
All right. Now, if you're okay, I'm gonna push you a little bit further on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me in terms of staff members, clients you're serving,
Mm-hmm.
revenue generating. I mean, how much
Okay.
revenue is the business generating? Like, I want to hear some quantified goals now.
Okay. So quantified goal would be that I would have at least, let me see, I have how many rooms? I would have at least 6 providers
Okay, nice.
working full time. Um, that would of course be generating at least, if it's 6 providers, then that will lead me to $1 million practice. There's 6 providers in there, and like I said, everybody's that it's full with 12 to 17 clients a day. Well, let me specify that if I have a therapist, of course, no more than 8 clients, and as a mental health provider, 12 to 17 a day. That's and all the rooms are full.
All right. All right. I like that. So, what are some of the barriers standing in front of those goals right now? So, potentially $1 million practice, a full, roster of employees, 12 to 17
Mhm.
clients per day. What are a couple of barriers that are right there in the way?
So, because I'm a nurse practitioner in the state of Georgia, in order for us, we have to have a doctor. So, the doctor that I do have, he's full. They can only have 4 nurse practitioners per license, and it's not enough providers. It's not enough psychiatrists coming out. It's more nurse practitioners than there are doctors.
Okay.
And so now I had to reach out to a doctor in another state to collaborate with him. So right now we're in the process of getting his Georgia license, and then he has to get on the insurance panel. So once he comes aboard, then I can bring on those providers that are needed. So that's the biggest barrier is being in the South.
Okay. And now, right now, are you only licensed to serve Georgia, or what's your
Yeah, that's
stand?
it. It's Georgia.
All right. And then is that the game plan, or do you have visions to move into other states, or what's your trajectory?
I'm okay with just being in Georgia. Um, yeah, unless I was the only other thing that I possibly thought about is going to a state where you don't need a collaborator
Okay.
and doing some telehealth.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten that far yet because I don't want to have shiny syndrome. Have that type of mindset. So I'm focusing on this first, and once this is settled, then I can look at exploring other options.
Perfect. And I'm glad you said that. So right now, all of your services, they are in person,
So I have a hybrid practice. I do
hybrid.
in
Okay.
person and telehealth.
Okay.
It's up to
Perfect.
the client. Hmm.
Okay. All right. I like that. Um, Teach me this. I mean, what are you doing to market your business right now?
I haven't spent one dime in marketing.
Okay, but what are you doing? So how are people finding out about your practice?
Insurance companies. I use psychologytoday.com. I use therapyforblackgirls.com. Word of mouth. That's it. And of course, I do have a website. So I guess that would make me have a Google My Business too. If
All
somebody
right.
asks me for my Google My Business profile, I'm like, I don't know how to find that. Just Google me. So, but that's how I'm getting out. But as far as like marketing, I haven't did that.
All right. And
Mhm.
I mean, just with those mix of, those mix of current avenues. So insurance, psychology today, um, the different profiles, which one is driving the biggest chunk of your leads?
Insurance company.
Insurance.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. And then tell me about your perfect client profile. So
Mm.
what does that perfect avatar look like for you?
My perfect client would be someone who listens.
What? Huh? What?
Someone who
Bad,
listens.
bad, bad corny joke. Sorry.
Someone who listens, who adheres to the plan, um, and who is honest. So, yeah, because like I tell, one thing about mental health is very subjective. I
Okay.
can't draw your labs and say, oh, today you have depression or today you have anxiety, right? So, based upon what you tell me, is how I am going to diagnose you, how I'm going to treat you. So, if you're not being open and honest, then
Mhm.
you will not be treated well, not as far as in the physical standpoint, but as far as your treatment plan, it won't be well because you weren't honest. So that would be my perfect client, someone who listens, someone who's truthful, and who would adhere to medication, therapy, and or both.
All right. So do you right now today already have that perfect client avatar like mapped out, all the dynamics, demographics, psychographics kind of written down on a sheet of paper somewhere?
No,
All right. So
because
let
I don't
me
believe in the word perfect. So I guess no.
sorry, say that again.
I said I don't believe in the word perfect.
Okay. Well, so let's call it ideal then, if
Yeah,
not perfect. But
yeah.
let me encourage you first
Mhm.
to take some time and really think about what that ideal client avatar starts to look like for your business.
Mhm.
Because what you just shared, right? Someone who listens. What you didn't share was somebody who has a problem. So I would want you to think about what's the problem that this
Mhm.
person, this ideal client, is coming to me with, and why
Mhm.
do they think I'm the person or the business that can solve that problem? Let's start there.
Okay.
So now my ideal client is a person with A, B, and C issues.
Mhm.
They heard about me and my business, right now through word of mouth or
Mhm.
through the insurance company, and they
Mhm.
sought me out for a reason.
Okay.
And now for you, based on what that problem is, this is how I'm going to present to them that I can solve that problem, that I can address their needs.
Okay.
But I would still say we can go even deeper, right? So is there a target market that you would want to attract? Hey, I only want to work with people who are 25 to 52. I'm just making up numbers.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
so now we got a very specific range that we can speak to say, hey, if you are between the ages of
Mhm.
X and Y and you have A,
Mhm.
B, and C problems, well, my
Mhm.
practice, Mindset Healthcare, we're here for you, right?
Mhm.
So that just starts to set out a different path, and we can continue to go deeper and deeper around that. But I would first I want to throw that one out there really quickly. Take some time to really think about who do we want to attract. Of course, it has to be somebody who can afford to work with us. It sounds like you accept insurance in your practice. So hey, I know when I get people who have these types of insurance programs, I'm getting funded because your business needs to make money so you can stay in business.
Mhm.
So that becomes another dynamic of that ideal customer is someone who can afford me or someone that has insurance that can
Mhm.
afford me. So
Mhm.
so just a few things to think through, but let me stop there and just ask if that makes sense to what I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes sense. But everyone always asks, "What's your target audience?" That's just it's a challenging question for me because everyone wants to say everyone, right? And for me, it's like I don't wouldn't know how to actually narrow that down to my target
Mhm.
audience because I see throughout the lifespan. So age wouldn't be because I see starting at age four
Mhm.
to throughout the life.
Yeah.
Um, I take all the insurances, Medicaid, Medicare, and private insurance as well. So I'm just listening to the things that you're saying.
Yeah.
So that's not a narrowing down. Um,
Well, let's start with this. So, if I ask you right now, and I'm asking you right now, Lola,
mhm,
what's the problem that you solve for your clients? What's the result that you create for your clients?
mhm. The problem is mental health challenges, and the solution is creating a treatment plan to help them resolve their mental health challenges.
Okay. So, what are the top three mental health challenges that people that you serve? Let me ask it like that.
Depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder.
Okay. Um, so now, do you want to be known as another healthcare provider that solves all the world of mental health issues in the state of Georgia? Or do you want to be the go to healthcare provider that solves depression, anxiety, and I'm sorry, I already forgot what the third one was, um,
Bipolar disorder.
bipolar? So,
Mhm.
so right now, we could call out, I'm the best in the state of Georgia at three things, or I'm okay just like everybody else at a couple of at everything, right? We're healthcare folks by background, so we already know people specialize for a reason, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I mean, if those are already your top three, or maybe let's just say they're the three most profitable, illnesses to treat, that becomes a starting point. Um, and now, if I am the best in those three areas for DeKalb County, I'm just making up a area of Georgia here. Um, that just becomes a different level of conversation. Now, if I live in DeKalb County and we know it's a massive county or Fulton or wherever, right? Now that becomes a different conversation. Everybody in that area is going to be looking for the person who can solve depression, anxiety, bipolar. So that's the power of really fine tuning who you want to speak to. Um, and I would say it becomes a marketing conversation. It's not
Mhm.
that you're saying, hey, I'm only good at this, but we're going to market to this one. I like calling it a market dominating position. And
Mhm.
then we're going
Mhm.
to market to the second one and we're going to market to the third one. But we know, you got a big, long list of options. So your marketing, your messaging at least can play to a lot of different angles. But that I would literally, and I say this because I have a couple of clients who are all healthcare professionals and some that do similar work as what you're doing.
Mhm.
um, Break it out line by line, service by service. But I would say, hey, for my depression patients, this is what a person with depression or a client of mine with depression, this is what they start to look like. And by the
Mhm.
way, their name is Marcus. So now when I start talking about my services for depression, I'm talking to Marcus, but all of the Marcuses in the state of Georgia, they're going to come and seek me out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. So I'm just giving some really quick high level examples, but let me stop talking so much and just ask, does that kind of make sense, or kind of see the value of niching it in some?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just I don't know. It's just
It's,
challenging for me
yeah.
because
Well, and especially
yeah,
as you're in build mode, it's scary too because you don't want to cut off opportunities.
right, 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 right. Because
Right.
I also do substance abuse. Because your question was, what's my most profitable
Yes, ma'am.
disorders? But when you look at, we have a lot of core morbidities. So yeah, they have depression and anxiety, and the way that they're treating it or have been treating it is through substances, right? So, it's just, that's why I say it's just challenging for me. I'm not saying that it can't be done.
Mhm.
It's just challenging because it's like, okay, but I like how you said, if I cater to these people, then they're gonna say, well, does that mean I can't come because I have schizophrenia or I have schizoaffective?
Yeah,
Like, no, I'm gonna see pretty much I'll see anyone maybe except for eating disorders. I haven't did any studies in that, so
sure.
eating disorders I know is something that I don't do because that's a different specialty when it comes to mental health.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's just challenging. That's
yeah.
all.
So do you, well, I'm probably going to ask two questions in this statement.
Mm-hmm.
But are you getting your profit and loss statements on a monthly basis? And if so, are you looking at the income lines on your profit and loss statements to see maybe what services are driving the most revenue into your business?
So my profit and loss doesn't break it down like that. It
All
just
right.
it just it doesn't break it down for disorders. It's not that specific. It's
Okay.
just what's coming in and what's going out.
Gotcha. But how are you tracking maybe the different roster of clients that you're working with? Do you have a CRM or a system
Yeah, I
or
have an EMR.
EMR?
I do, but um, I never looked at them per diagnoses because, like I said, so many people have comorbidities.
Sure.
Like, it's very rare for me to have one person with just one disorder.
Yeah, I would challenge you to maybe spend some. Let's just say because it's Friday, see if you can pull that out, and maybe if there's at least a primary diagnosis that you can assign to the clients you're working with, and just see what stands out. I'm willing to assume that there's already a specialty of what you're doing. Like 60% of my clients are all this one type of client, or maybe a primary diagnosis at least.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I mean, I can tell you that it's depression and anxiety. Those are the most common ones. I
okay.
know that without looking. Um, and then, like I said, bipolar, but yeah, bipolar is depression too. So depression would
So,
be number one.
okay.
Then if you break it down like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. So, and the only reason I'm going in on the perfect client avatar, or the ideal, not perfect,
Mhm.
is just because, I do want you to have that ability to continue to differentiate yourself. So innovation is great, but
Mhm.
now innovation, hey, I am the only healthcare provider in the state of Georgia providing an innovative approach for depression, anxiety, and bipolarism. Again, that's a different level of marketing message that I would love for you to have or be able to say with confidence.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but now all of that to kind of go back to where we started, which is Jarvis, I need providers that can help me pull in more and more clients and patients. Now, who's the number one doctor in the state of Georgia or in the Southeast in general, right? Who's known world renowned for depression or anxiety or whatever. Like
Mhm.
those are the folks I may also want to try to align my services with
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
again, that's going to help you build up more and more stature and exactly what
Mhm.
you're building. So just different ways you could carve it out.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
let's just say there's the world famous eating disorder doctor, kind of like what you're saying.
Mhm.
Then I
Well, if
try
you put,
I try to
mhm.
find those respective leaders in their categories.
Well, if you put it in that perspective, because I do with the psychedelics, I'm the only one that does that in in Fayetteville for sure. Because you know the other providers that are in Fayetteville are older, and so
Hmm.
older doctors are set in their ways
Sure.
and they're not interested in learning anything new.
Okay.
So I am the only one who, hell, I'm even the only one who will even in Fayette County for sure that will do Suboxone and Vivitrol, which is for substance abuse and alcohol use. So I can say that. I
Okay.
can say I'm the only one because I know it's only three of us in Fayetteville
Nice.
and that they come to me. Yeah, I'm the only one who takes Medicaid in Fayette County because nobody wants to come take Medicaid. So I am
So
the only
so
one.
to jump on that example right there. So
Mhm.
to be the only provider that can accept Medicaid, again, you just created another characteristic for your ideal clients.
Mm-hmm.
So right out the gate, every client, at least down in your area, who's on Medicaid that needs you, they need to
Mm-hmm.
know you exist because they're coming straight to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so just another example of that definition behind your ideal clients. But for what we're talking about, I want you to be in a category of your own. I don't want you competing against all the other mental health providers. I want you to be the only mental health provider that does XXX,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely I love that positioning. I think that's strong. And then when you're looking for more providers to come support you and kind of come on board with you,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you present to them as well. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you want to be aligned with the only, right? That's a different
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely. Sounds great for marketing. The only.
yeah. I mean, because you mentioned word of mouth, for example. Word of mouth is the strongest form of marketing, but it's also the most unpredictable form of marketing
Mm-hmm.
because you can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see you kind of get to. Are you on social media? I know you mentioned a website, but are you also? Does your business have social media presence?
It has it, but I'm not active. Like my clients don't come from that. And that's a
Okay.
job in itself. That's a job in itself, okay? Because you gotta edit it, you gotta have a caption, you gotta be active. I'm over here seeing clients. So yeah. I,
All right. I'll balance to say so. You're right, and I can't take that away from anything. And my
mhm,
personal claim to fame through my coaching that I do is that I can show any business owner how to grow their business without spending more on marketing or ads. But that said, I do believe in having investments in marketing. Social media for the population you're serving is probably has some great potential. I do have a client based out of South Florida that is again in a very similar spot. She's an MP as well, and she's doing about 50,000 a month based on because most of what we do is Facebook marketing to her target audiences. So all of that to say, any marketing you may choose to do should have a ROI built into it,
what's the
and
ROI?
a return on investment.
Oh, ROI. I thought you said ROI. I'm like, what's
No,
the Y for?
sorry,
Okay.
sorry,
All right.
but yeah, but all that to say, Lola, what you're building because you're still very much it sounds like in growth mode and mindset. I think you're doing it the right way. I would love to carve out that very unique fields, even if in total you cover, let's just say 9 different specialties that you serve for your clientele.
Mm-hmm.
I would create unique marketing messages for each one of those.
Mm-hmm.
A really, really quick and easy way to start could be for each one of the specialties that you serve, just come up with like a frequently asked questions list. And then I would just pump that out on, social media, my website.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was going to circle back. You did mention Google as well. I would imagine that your Google My Business page is probably going to be a decent lead potential generator for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I get a lot of clients because I always ask, "How did you hear about us?" And a lot of
yeah,
people say, "I just Googled it."
there you
So,
go.
but I don't even know how to work the Google My Business. I don't even know how to work that.
All
I know
right.
I got it.
I was going to say, Lola, we're going to be having some follow up conversation because that
Yeah.
one, that's a free service. And it's, if people are already leaning on that for you, then
Mm-hmm.
I want you to stand that one up pretty quickly. Yeah, yeah. The impact of Google nowadays, I want to say is probably underestimated by a lot of small business owners still. So that to me can be a quick win, especially when they Google it and they see that Lola and MindSet Healthcare is the only provider
Mm-hmm.
down in this area, right? That's going to really stand out. They're going to come flocking to you.
Yeah, I agree. Because you'll feel special, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I am curious to ask this, kind of almost still kind of going back to the customer avatar mindset. Are you targeting any demographics over the next? So black over white over Spanish, or are you just any and everybody with these problems? I am the solution.
Yeah, I mean, so I created a nonprofit for, but I haven't been active on that. But I did create a nonprofit that was specific to the BIPOC community,
Okay.
um, because I do believe uh, we need it more than anyone.
Okay.
But it's a lot of barriers that prevent certain things from getting across. And I really don't have the bandwidth right now um, to be and do so many things. So I'm
Sure.
like focusing on this one. And once I get it to the point where I no longer have to work in the business, but more on the business, then I will focus on those other things, you know. So,
All right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that
So,
okay?
yeah. Um, but that is something that I am passionate about.
Sure.
Um, you know, because like now I even have a friend who wants me to come and assist with the podcast. And, you know, I just wanted to make sure and tell her, because mental health is still my passion. So
Mhm.
as long as it's educating and, you know, being informative to my people, because all I can do, if you hear it so many times, hopefully one day you'll be like, okay, well, let me try this out and see. But I know you can't force things on people, right? You
Correct.
can't want something more for someone than they want it for themselves. But if you keep hearing it, one day you might listen.
All right. Fantastic. Well, in the world of marketing, there are essentially three things that we can market truly effectively within
Mm-hmm.
our businesses. And it comes down to a transformation,
Mm-hmm.
which,
Mm-hmm.
with a mental health service that you provide, hey, I'm going to take you from struggling mentally to this better place, this safer place. So that's a transformation to go from something to something. We can market a lifestyle. So again, for mental health, right? Somebody who is depressed and nervous and anxious to now being open and free and, just relax or whatever the conditions may be. You can highlight the lifestyle changes you help. But you can also kind of take an advocacy stand, right? So you can
Mm-hmm.
stand for something or you can stand against something. And just like you said, within our BIPOC communities and that trust around mental health right now, you can be the advocate to say, minority communities, this is why mental health is important. So I just wanted to highlight that, in the world of marketing, those three angles, so to speak, they stand out for every big brand across the world. But for what you're building, I think
Mm-hmm.
you could easily leverage all three of those into your marketing efforts as well.
I agree. Time.
Right. Hit them with the trifecta. All right.
Like time.
All right. Lola, let me stop there. I've probably got more and more ideas to throw, but I don't want to overwhelm. But
Mm-hmm.
any good ideas or takeaways just from the conversation that we've been having so far?
Oh yes, definitely. I do like I guess the only is looking more of the marketing, but it's still kind of it it serves both marketing and maybe ideal, because you're speaking to a specific audience when you're saying like I am the only provider who specializes in treating depression with psychedelics. That's still targeting an audience, like someone who's interested in it, because that's who you're speaking to, but
Yes,
they
ma'am.
can't find someone to do it. So here I am. So it serves, and I never looked at it like that, because every time everybody always says, "What's the ideal client?" But they never said, "How do you target your ideal client?" But be being able to pull out something that like your niche, basically. When you're saying the only, it's more of a niche or what separates you from others.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's I never heard of it put in that phrase. So if you put it like that, then you're still not necessarily saying this is your ideal client, but you're speaking to people who feel you're their ideal provider.
Yeah. Well, and I really want you to take home too that mindset around what problem do I solve and who do I
Mhm,
solve it for? So if I solve this problem and I solve it for people with depression or people with bipolarism or whatever different, specialties you can serve, that's also the way to get people to call, kind of opt in or to raise their hand. Hey, I think she's talking to me now, right?
mhm, mhm,
So again, you're not cutting off one branch for the other, but when you call out, hey, if you are suffering from A, B, and C thing, well, this is how I serve. This is how Mindset Healthcare serves that
mhm,
thing. And they're going to be like, I think I might want to talk to her. And so that's
mhm.
all we really want is we want to articulate what we do and the results we help deliver in a way that people will raise their hands.
Yes.
And then one final question, do you have systems in place for sending out like emails and drip campaigns?
No,
No?
I
All right.
haven't. It's in my EMR, but I
Okay.
have not had an opportunity to utilize it
Okay.
because I am the manager, the provider, the biller.
I call it the CEO. You're,
Now.
you're the chief everything officer, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Like who's the office manager? Me. Yes, me.
All
So
right.
right now I I'm wearing a lot of hats. So I haven't gotten to those things, but I do know that my EMR system does have that capability.
Okay. Good.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I will save that to our next conversation then.
Hmm.
Sounds like I've probably given enough to get started with, but I can say personally, confidently, because I work with all my clients on implementing those things into their business. Lola, I think getting clarity and everything we just talked about today, I think that'll give you a nice boost. It's just a matter of time to implement it. So I want to stay connected and just kind of hear how the journey goes. If that's okay, I'm gonna hit you up and bug you from time to time.
Okay.
Um, before I let you go, though, please give yourself a shout out. Tell our audience where they can learn more about you, learn more about Mindset Healthcare, and anything else you
Mhm.
can share.
Okay. So my name is Lola Otubaga. I am the provider at MindSet Healthcare, which, again, as I stated, is an integrated mental health practice. We do treat clients through medication management and therapy. You can follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Mindset Healthcare. Twitter is I'm Mindset Health One or I'm not even that active on that, but I do have them. Our website is www.mindsethealthcare.com. The phone number is 470 Mindset. And yeah, if you're interested or know someone who may be having challenges with their mental health, please don't hesitate to call us. We do accept most insurance companies. The only ones that I don't accept is Peach State and Ambetter. But most all the private insurances, Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE. So we do accept most insurances. We do accept cash as well too for self-pay clients. And yeah, we're here. Like I said, we're resetting minds and changing lives.
Love it. All right. Well, Lola, again, I appreciate everything you're doing, especially as it starts to impact our Black and minority communities. So
Hmm.
please keep it up. For everyone that is plugged in with today's conversation, thank you for making us a part of your day. This is
Hmm.
Lola and Jarvis, and we are wishing you all more leads, more customers, and more profits in your business. Take care, everybody.
All right. Thank you.